introduce my dad, Michael Mills, right here.
Yeah. I've been asked to share this message with you that Director is very proud of our veterans. He's a veteran himself. He really hates that he can't be here today. He's got some other things going on, but it is not without the recognition of your service to this country, your service to your community, and everything you do not only makes our director proud, makes our UAW proud, and we just can't encourage you enough to have a good conference today. I know there's some very serious issues we're going to talk about, but I think as I was talking to Brother Greg, the opportunity to have the camaraderie with each other, the opportunity to commiserate with each other, love each other, and laugh together, that's what we want. And we wish you the best of the conference today, and thanks for being here.
22 to me is a culmination of men and women, either veteran or active duty in the armed forces, and even civilians that have experienced someone to veteran suicide or someone that has gone down that path to veteran suicide but fortunately did not succeed. It's an event where we bring everybody together as one in a community effort. FW meaning Fort Wayne, and 22 as in the 22 veterans a day that commit suicide.
And with everything that's going on in the community right now with the pandemic, I know veteran suicide rates are at, I think it was 18% currently, because they're being isolated and being forced to deal with those inner demons without help.
The hike is always my favorite time of the year because even this year with this crazy pandemic, you know, at one point we considered just canceling the event, but we were still going to hike because we hike for a reason. You know, I always tell people too, because they show up from all kinds, big, small, large, tiny, you name it. I tell them this hike, it's going to hurt, but it's supposed to hurt because you're carrying that brother and sister that's no longer here because they lost that fight to mental illness. That's violence, sexual trauma. So we have different, like she said, we strategically built our board to get us the ends to where we need to go. So I can't think of a single issue that you can come to us with that we don't have a person that's an expert in that field. I'm an expert, not by degrees, but by experience, by going out and getting my hands dirty. But I realize that's not enough if you want to get taken serious. So we have the doctors, we have the social workers, we have the sexual assault trauma advocates, we have all of that.
The VA website today states that there is no scientific evidence connecting toxic burn pit emissions and any long-term health consequences. One huge problem is Congress and the Senate, because when the soldier gets sick, the first thing he or she does is contact his congressman or senator if he or she is not getting the results from the VA. They still follow the chain of command, so reaching out to the members of Congress is the last resort. Congress has dropped the ball on this completely. There seems to be a joint effort with the DOD to slow walk any legislation that will force the VA to take care of these sick and dying veterans. This is very similar to what Vietnam veterans went through with Agent Orange. So when the veterans come in with these respiratory issues and cancers, it's very hard for the soldier to prove that they got this on the battlefield because it is not an injury that they received from the enemy. These are injuries they received from having their own military commanders unleash chemical weapons on our troops. The best way to help the soldiers affected by this is for Congress to listen and to actually believe what they're saying. They believed in the soldiers when we sent them off to war. They believed they would go over there and get the job done, but when they come home and complain of illnesses, they suddenly question the soldiers' integrity. It's mind-boggling. They're accused of faking to get benefits or told they have PTSD, they give them pills and send them home. We need them to stop telling them there's no science to show burning batteries, asbestos, plastics, rubber, paint cans, pesticides, human remains, chemical weapons, firearms, explosives, medications, medical waste, computers, coated electrical wire, pesticide containers, cleaning supplies, wrecked military vehicles, wrecked military aircraft, well, just about anything else you can think of, then light it up with JP8 dioxin-filled jet fuel does not cause chronic and terminal illnesses. We don't need more research. Anyone with half a brain knows if you burn all of the aforementioned items in your backyard every single day, you're gonna get terribly sick and die a horribly suffering death, like Keith did. So we know that burn pits, which are so dangerous that they are outlawed on American soil, were used on bases around the world. Veterans lived and breathed in these toxic cocktails every day. Now many are sick and dying from lung diseases, cancer, and respiratory illnesses. Now we must force the VA to take care of them. We know that the VA continues to claim there's not enough evidence that these ailments are service-connected, but we do have the evidence. We know what was burned, we know what was in the soil, we know that the toxic fumes and environmental conditions were so hazardous that the Department of Defense changed the rules for burning and switched to incinerators in many places. And we have seen the ailments of our 9/11 responders and Vietnam veterans who have developed exposures from some of the exact same toxins. These men and women, many of whom are fighting for their lives, should not have to fight the VA for the care that is linked to their service. The recently introduced legislation, the Presumptive Benefits for Warfighters Exposed to Burn Pits and Other Toxins Act, will remove the burden of proof. It will remove that burden from our veterans by establishing a presumptive service connection for veterans exposed to burn pits and other toxins, and streamline the process so they can get the benefits that they have already earned from the VA. No more forcing veterans to beg the DoD for paperwork to prove their exposure. We spend late nights researching the links between lung cancer, lung scarring, and toxic smoke from these burn pits. We're trying to get notes from a private doctor, trying to convince the VA that this disease could only be caused by toxic environmental exposures.
There's one thing that'll move a politician, and that's you talking to them and saying, what are you doing about this? That's the only reason anything moves with their attitude. And I guarantee you, if enough of you people will get together and we'll get that website to you, I guarantee you they'll respond back. They always do. Well, I'm glad you went and noticed this, and we've got that, and blah. They're all jargon that they use. But the bottom line is, wow, we're getting a lot of response out of that. We need to look into it. And that's what stirs them. It's up to us. We have got to be the soldiers to fight for these guys. I'm seeing it all again, and my PTSD is coming out.
Yeah.
I'm furious about it. And I guarantee you, they threw radioactive material in there as well.
Oh yeah, there's no way of knowing what all is thrown.
But we gotta fight.
On a given day.
We gotta give up time. But it will happen if enough of us show up, and that's what I wanted to pass along.
There's never a dull moment of choices, and I feel like Lonnie and the team are making a difference in these young men's lives who are court appointed through Allen County.
So with that, question, Andrew?
What was that place called, Choices?
Choices Treatment Center. Yep. 1610 Spy Run. If you want to drive by it.
It's right across the street, Andrew, from the front door of the Shepherd's house.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, just one more time, we can help our veterans given the right resources. I'm confident that our Iraq and Afghanistan veterans will get the treatment and the care that they've been promised and are continuing to be promised but have been denied. It's success stories like the Shepherd's House that makes me believe that our veterans are going to be taken care of. It's going to be some time consumption in there, but we're going to take care of them one way or another. And with your help at the ballot box, I know we can make it happen sooner rather than later. With that said, Ken and Tracy, thank you so much for what you do for our veterans.
Morning. I'd like to thank Holly and her team for inviting us. It's a pleasure to be out here with other veterans. We just want to give you a quick update on where we're going, what we're doing, and the excitement behind the Vietnam Wall that we brought to Fort Wayne. The Vietnam Wall is here. We've already purchased it, and it's at the shrine, waiting to be installed. 70 different panels, anodized aluminum. And it's a beauty, and we can't wait to get it started. Yesterday, the tree guys were out taking out trees, making room so we get the wall in. It's 360 feet long, so we gotta make room for it. It's made of high strength, like I say, anodized aluminum. There's a software system where you can find anybody's name on there, what panel he's on, how far down on the list, when he was killed, so on and so forth. We have more than 58,000 names on the wall. To me, it's a generation of people that their lives were taken. 1,534 were from Indiana. 79 from Allen County. We're close to the situation. Pat and I both know guys from high school. We were both Southside guys years ago, and we know friends that perished during the conflict. We could bring $27 million into Fort Wayne, businesses, lodging, restaurants. So it's going to have impact. Our budget is $1.75 million, and everybody goes, why so much? I said, well, buying the wall was the easy part. Putting it up is the hard part. As the county says, we've got to have 180 parking spots. We don't have 180 parking spots. So we're going to have to buy a lot of cement and move a lot of ground. The wall's 360 feet long. It's all going to be supported by concrete. So we're going to have to figure out how to dig down below the freeze line, get the concrete poured, get the wall up. Then you got to add ADA pathways. A lot of people that are going to visit the wall are walkers, canes, wheelchairs. We got to make it easy for them to visit the wall. We'd like to put in a welcome center with a gift shop, with a computer that you can find anybody's name printed out just like you do in DC.
We had a young lady, right about 30 years old, come walking up to the wall that we had on display at the Texas Roadhouse. And she was looking up above people and trying to look at the wall, and I spotted her and I said, "Can I help you?" And she goes, "Yes, I want to look for my uncle." And I said, "Well, let me help you out." So I went to the virtual wall website and I found her uncle. Young guy, 19 years old, and she started crying. And the minute she started crying, I had asked her, I says, "Are you okay?" And she says, "No, I never met him, but this picture really hurts to feel that he's gone. But at the same time, it feels good to get some closure." And that's the secret to this wall. It's not only helping us Vietnam veterans, but it's our children. It's our grandchildren. It's aunts and uncles that are going to get some closure. That's how important the wall really is. We never quit. The government found that out. They built us, they created us, now they got to deal with us. Thank you very much.
We have to remember that we cannot forget the men and women, not only the ones that are serving today, those that have served in the past several decades, but most importantly, we can't forget the men and women that gave their lives. They are the heroes of this nation. They are the ones that we can never let be forgotten. And that is the motto of the Shrine, to ensure that no veteran is ever forgotten. So while you guys are doing your activities for your veterans, and I know you are all involved in many different things, just remember, we have to remember our veterans, because if we don't, no one else will. And we have to keep them in the forefront of our thoughts.
Now, we could put parking on that property over there, or we may just go back here. Yeah, we need to say 180 spots. The guys who've had trauma and combat, they try to match up a dog with a veteran, and it takes over a year for them to do all this. It costs $10,000 per dog to train a dog to be a service dog. But they're going to have 9 dogs out here and 9 veterans. They kind of have like a bivouac. They'll have campfire. They'll have lunch out here, and they go through communication with the dog and the veteran. But it's when they started telling me, the thing is called OTTS, Our Turn to Serve, and what it is, it's a non-for-profit, and they help pair veterans who've had traumatic, I don't want to say a disability, but a service-related trauma, and people don't even know about the military sexual abuse. that some women went through, and they helped them too. Eventually like to do is get this, maybe extend this museum, because we're running out of space. Either that or build a new building right here. And then we'd like to put a veterans center, maybe a counseling center somewhere out here. They're talking about doing a monument plaza out there by the wall where there'd be a big circle, 5 different monuments, big flagpole in the middle. So all veterans can be remembered, but that's a 5-year plan. So it's gonna take some time, but I'll tell you, once the wall's up, that gives us the onus to move forward. And that'll bring a lot of people into this marketplace. You go to the website, you go to honoringforever.org, there's a button that says donate. You could donate right online. You can come out here, we got donate, when you go inside there's donation boxes that you could drop your money in there, or you could mail it into our P.O. box, which I'll give, there's cards in there, I'll give you a card. But yeah, people can donate online, in person, or by mail, and just send it in. We had a lady from Florida send us a check for $10,000. And when Sharon called her, our treasurer, she said, can I ask you what this is all about? And she said, yeah, my husband's a Vietnam veteran, and he just passed away. And he was like in his late 60s, early 70s. And she says, I just felt like I needed to do this. We had a lady that's 100 years old that lives down the street. 96, I think she was. She brought a check over for $100. And she says, I knew the Scotts, Eric and Cleo, the ones that started this. Eric and Cleo Scott. And she said, I just wanted to give you some money, because I know how important it is to keep this thing going. But yeah, the Scotts started it all.
That was donated.
It's cool. Really kind of cool. He loved the guys who fought.
Roy.
Yeah, they're right here. Right left. Right there with the cake. First
Oh,
come
he's
in.
a character.
Yeah.
He's the one I get to talk to.
No, it's what I think.
Over here.
All right, we'll do that.
Here they are, right here.
Remember to sign in.
There's Eric. He was with the 6th Engineering Group in World War I. That's Cleo and Eric. That's him as a 18-year-old. That's him, Eric Scott. I mean, we got the same gun that John Wilkes Booth shot Lincoln with. We've got Confederate money. We've got guns and stuff from World War I, World War II. But we go back to the Civil War. I mean, there's stuff in there, Civil War, all the way up to Vietnam and Iraq. So it's kind of a labor of love for the guys that are doing it. But I'm retired, and it's a great hobby. So that's a wonderful thing.
My name's Dave Chesser. I'm with UAW Local 685 out of Kokomo, Indiana, and it went pretty good. I told Holly after we got ready to come that I thought they did a great job. So would like to see more people here, but you know, we'll get there.
I'm Steve Brooks. I'm from Local 685 as well. First conference I've been to. Very informative. Met a lot of good people. I just never knew this place was here, so definite learning experience. Him and I are both members of the Marine Corps League in Kokomo. It's nice to know that we're going to have a Vietnam Wall here. I think that'll be very good for this community as well as surrounding communities.
Indiana in general.
Indiana in general.
They have a Vietnam veterans
reunion
every year in Kokomo, and I look for a lot of them because it's a week long, and I look for a lot of them to migrate up here and take a look at that wall. So freedom.
Giving the people the ability to do what they're doing now, protest and speak their mind.
You know, the way I look at it, those people out there protesting means we did our job. They can protest because of what we did.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
I'm Greg Bedford. I'm the current Veterans Committee Chairperson of Local 2209. And today we had the distinct pleasure of welcoming 4 different locals from Indiana for just a small veterans get-together where we talked about 3 very important issues. One of them is the 22-a-day suicide. The other one was the burn pits that all our Afghan and Iraq veterans are faced with over there on a daily basis. And the third one was homelessness and substance abuse within the city of Fort Wayne with Shepherd's House. And I think today
the importance of it was to get the message out that we can't forget our veterans, that they are our true heroes, not the movie stars and the sports stars, but the men and women who serve their country, and most importantly, the men and women who gave their lives while serving their country. And I think from today, that's what our mission was identified as, is that's making sure no veterans ever forgotten. And I think today we accomplished that.